Hi, I'm Dr. Prem. I'm a consultant urologist and a robotic surgeon and renal transplant surgeon from Fortis Hospital, Nagarbavi. I'm here in front of you to talk to you about urinary incontinence, which is a common problem faced by almost all age groups, predominantly in the elderly population and not so in younger patients. So before we go into urinary incontinence, I would like to brief you about what is a normal maturation cycle. The normal maturation cycle is dynamics of how the bladder functions and how it controls the urination during the process of urine storage. So a bladder has a storage phase and a voiding phase or emptying phase. So in the storage phase, bladder has completely been relaxed for a long duration, where the bladder starts getting urine from the kidneys through a tube into a bladder, and the relaxation phase continues so that the bladder keeps itself relaxed, the muscle inside the bladder keeps relaxed, and the exit of the bladder, which is made up of a muscle or multiple muscles, will keep contracting so that the urine is held there. And as the process increases, the urination process increases, bladder starts getting filled up to an extent of 200 ml. There is an initial signal which is sent by the bladder muscle to the brain, telling that bladder is partially filled. And this signal, if it is neglected, bladder continues to be relaxed and it keeps getting stored. And at an extent where it reaches a normal bladder volume, somewhere around 400 to 500 ml, the bladder starts sending signal to the brain, telling that the bladder is full and it is emptied. And if there is a social acceptability and there is a place to void or to pass urine, the bladder, the brain or a person himself will go to the toilet or the bathroom and try to initiate the maturation process. During this process, the bladder starts sending signal to the brain to empty it. From the brain, the signals come down and they stimulate the bladder muscles to start contracting so that the bladder pressure increases. Simultaneously, there is a muscle of the sphincter region. The nerves supply at the sphincter region to relax the sphincter region, and the bladder starts emptying the urine. And this phase is called a voiding phase. And post-voiding phase, when the bladder is completely empty, the bladder muscle is completely relaxed, and the sphincter starts regaining back its continence or hardness or a continence mechanism. And after this process is done, the bladder continues to enter into a storage phase. So after knowing the dynamics, we will come to a incontinence. Incontinence as such is a problem either because of the muscle of the bladder being very strong or the exit muscle being very weak. So either both of them can happen. Depending on what the mechanism and where the mechanism is acting, the incontinence is divided into stress incontinence, urge incontinence, mixed incontinence, overflow incontinence, and sometimes continuous incontinence. Stress incontinence is a condition where the muscles which are supposed to hold the urine tight, they are not holding it. That can happen in the neurological problems where the nerves which are supposed to supply the muscle are not working properly. It can be because of a trauma or an injury to the muscles where the muscles are not strong enough to hold it. And there are multiple reasons where either trauma to the nerves or the muscle, it's relaxed. Because of a surgeries inside the pelvic floor for a female, that can cause the muscle to not contract properly and the urine starts leaking. This is called stress incontinence. In these cases, usually we see patients, even if there is a cough, there is a sneeze, the urine starts leaking out. It can happen in a female or a male, depending on multiple pathologies involving the sphincter mechanism. The other incontinence is urge incontinence, which is mainly because of increased contraction of the muscle. So muscle contraction increases of the bladder when there is increased stimulation to the bladder, either because of an infection or it can be because of a stone disease inside the bladder. It can be because of neurological problem inside the spinal cord or brain, which continues to stimulate the bladder muscle to contract it in a very higher strength, and the bladder pressure increases irrespective of the bladder filling. So in those cases, even a slightest amount of urine inside the bladder, the muscle starts pushing with a lot of force, which is not being resisted by the sphincters, and the urine starts leaking. The other mechanism of incontinence is mixed incontinence, where both of these mechanisms act together. Stress incontinence as an urge and the urge incontinence. That is, the bladder is pushing with a lot of force and the sphincter also is not continent enough or strong enough to hold the urine. Another way of or another type of incontinence is overflow incontinence, where neither the bladder is functioning properly, nor the sphincter is functioning properly, and they are incontinent with each other. That means the bladder completely gets relaxed without any pressures developing inside the bladder, and the sphincter continues to hold the urine continent, and at a point where the bladder reaches its maximum mechanical volume, it starts leaking to the normal passage in spite of the resistance being caused by the sphincter, that is overflow incontinence. And there's another incontinence where it is called as continuous incontinence. That happens when there is a urine leak which happens apart from the normal passage or a natural passage. That is, if there is a fistula or there is abnormal connection of the bladder to the exit of the skin or outside of the body, so the urine continues to leak irrespective of the continence mechanism being right or wrong. So these are the different types of incontinence we come across, and the treatment depends on what causes the incontinence, where is the pathology of incontinence, and whether it is mechanical or infectious or malignancies or neurological problems. Depending on those problems, that can be solved. And most of the incontinence can be diagnosed by a test called urodynamics, and based on urodynamic evaluations, we can see the exact pathology happening and to correct it as such. So this is in brief about incontinence mechanisms. We will get back to you with a new topic later on. Thank you very much for patiently listening.